Hey everyone, welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. In the last episode, Dr. Whom left that horrible poltergeist mansion. It was a disaster, never should have attempted that one. Poltergeist should have tried it once and then fled, like I originally had said I would do. Instead, I completely misplayed that. My pride made me stay. Because I was like, I'm gonna beat you encounter, and no, I couldn't. That was horrible. So I think Dr. Whom is going to go out to his car and activate a device which will heal himself and everything that happened to him, but it will reset his state back before he entered that mansion. And the poltergeist itself is going to rearrange the mansion on us, because it's not gonna look the same when we step back in there. So let's try this again. So slow story speed, agent difficulty, Reaper mode, and let's go ahead and read the intro and get in there. Some idiot in research designed a new psychic kinetic anomaly detector, and the high-ups decided that they needed to find out an appropriate testing ground. You know, let's pretend it's us who actually designed this device. That's where we come in. The Amity estate has been abandoned for years. The last tenants were reputedly driven off by poltergeist activity that was abnormally focused and violent. The Odd has listed the place as warranted for observation and quarantine, but a lack of resources had meant that surveillance has not been continuous. Your assignment is to visit the estate and determine its current psychic kinetic activity level and its suitability as a proving ground for the new gadget. Dr. Whom? Whoa, what's happening down there, Fraps? Don't do that. Oh, you're confused, and now I don't know if you're actually recording. Let's get in there, and then I can save the game, and then I can make sure that Fraps is indeed still recording. So we're going to make more or less the same character. We want a professor. I also don't need it. It's not to be continued Dr. Whom, it's just Dr. Whom. Take that bone of swords again. And as for a starting edge, I think we do want Sprinter. And let's start. Okay, everyone, that took a little longer than I would have liked to have created it. Here we are, inside the mansion. Let's take a look at this Dr. Whom and see if he's going to do well or not. So we start with a dragon's talisman this time. A little less chance to appear, 70%, not 100, but release chance is only 7. I guess that's pretty good. Oh, we have exactly the same edge as last time. We have multiple PhDs and Sprinter. How about that? Do we get the same wands item? A pocket watch. All it does is +1 wands bonus. Flash of Genius is our new heroic feat for intellect. Roll 1 bone, and then select a not revealed trick card and reveal it. If the revealed card is a face card, then add 2 times X to your trick points taken score, and draw a card, no matter what. Welp, we're not going to solve this problem by just standing here looking around. Let's get into the place. Interesting. We can see bloody footprints walking up to this, and then drag march, dragging whatever it was to the entrance. You've come upon a large bas-relief face mounted on the wall. Its features are worn and look quite old. As you stare at it, you start to feel uneasy. Suddenly you realize that the mouth is moving its lips ever so slightly, and then you hear the mumbling. It starts as a whisper, but you can't get it out of your head as it grows in intensity. If this keeps up, you are certain that it will drive you insane. You fight to keep the mumblings from overwhelming your mind. You can't understand any of it, but the droning noises seem to want to burrow deep into your skull, and that can't be good. You search for some way to block out the mumbling noise, but only flail helplessly. There's an eldritch power at work here, and it breaks into your mind and seeks to wound you. The face on the wall looks amiable, but you know otherwise. The lips continue to move, but the mumbling is barely audible. Examining the bas-relief more closely, you notice that there is a pictograph script of some sort disguised within the frieze that encircles the face. You sense eldritch sorcery at work here. The bas-relief could be enchanted or cursed, or merely serving as the physical nexus of some malevolent force. You realize that you should proceed with caution. We can't even decipher the symbols because I need one more pentacles, so we'll just leave this here and come back later when we have more stats. The boxing ring. We're not ready for that encounter. We need more wands and pentacles first, so we'll have to come back to that later. You hear a voice coming from everywhere and nowhere. It speaks a clear warning. Get out. -1 target level. You see ghostly wisps of smoke rising to the ceiling. You follow the wisps down to a large comfortable leather chair sitting in the gloom. Suddenly, you see the illumination of a cigar end, and with that, a ghost materializes sitting in the chair. You're confronted with a supernatural manifestation that sends a chill down your spine. You admire the ghost's smoke circles and wish you had a few cigars on you right now. The gentleman ghost sitting in the chair puffs away on his cigar and smiles back at you. He looks like the jovial old uncle that you never had. You sense that he is impatient, though, as his demeanor turns from a smile to a frown. Perhaps he thought you were a servant. You decide to use your psychic talents as a medium to try to find out what the ghost is doing here. He might have information that can help you. You sit down in the chair across from him and enter a trance. Mistaking you for a servant, he thinks you are impertinent at first. Then he realizes that you still might be able to help him. He needs a favor done. Huh, my good man. I am almost out of my cigars here. Would you be kind enough to go and fetch me a few? The ghostly gentleman leans back and puffs out the huge column of ghost smoke. He fixes you in the eyes and says, just one catch, of course. More like an inconvenient challenge, actually. You'll see what I mean. With that background, I think we'll do the standard 1+1 pentacles to start. Let's keep going. Oh, by the way, Destruction 42K, you commented on the last one of these that I uploaded. I don't need to make the game easier. I need to realize when it's a mistake to stay in a fight and run instead. That's what I need to do, especially with this type of character. And this might be one such instance, because this hallway is going to be filled with zombies. Right? This is the body bag hallway. This room could have brain bots and another random encounter like a Talos Rati in it. Often, though, this room will have a glitch present. The encounter doesn't spawn. I get a pop-up with an error message instead. So, what I'll probably do, everyone, is I will come back out here and put a pause in the recording, and then go and check out this room. And if I come back and I tell you it's broken, you'll have to believe me there. It seems impossible at first, but slowly you recognize the sounds of clinking glasses and a soft murmur of conversation. A long dining table stands in front of you, surrounded on all ends by dusty chairs. As you come nearer, you think you detect some movement around the table, and the hairs on your arms begin to stand on end. It's suddenly very cold. A ghostly face peers out from behind one of the chairs, and in a heartbeat, you see the apparition seated all around the table. The scene twists at the threads of your sanity. You struggle to comprehend this brush with the supernatural. You have rarely seen this many ghosts congregated together before. You hardly feel at ease, but your willpower is rock steady. You're confronted with a very unusual scene. You stand before a dinner party of ghosts who for the most part seem completely oblivious to your presence. Occasionally you see a ghost looking around as if trying to find a servant, however most seem fully preoccupied with ghostly gossip and dinner chatter. You decide to use your powers as a medium to tap your ectoplasmic knife against the glass and grab their attention. Maybe a direct approach will let you start a conversation so that you can gather some information. Of course, there are some risks involved with this approach. With 2 kings, we shouldn't have any trouble with this. Rows of ghostly heads turn towards you and gaze expectantly. You offer a pithy toast and they seem pleased. Before you know it, you're gabbing away. The general consensus is that the lack of a proper dessert is spoiling the festivities. You hear raucous cries for dessert, and many of the ghostly guests are looking expectantly towards you. Would you be so good as to find the butler and order our dessert? You hear the sound of straining metal above you, and then sudden a crack. You look up at the script and realize that you've read it incorrectly. At the same time, a massive glass and metal chandelier is falling directly towards us. Oh, do I want more draw but less tricks? Again, I wish I knew if the tricks were placed first or draw happened first. You judged the trajectory of the falling chandelier and noticed that you can shuffle over to one side and avoid it entirely. Can we? Can we? I don't know if we can. Their calculations were slightly off and you can't get completely out of the way in time. Ouch. I'm taking that because trap failures result in wounds, which we saw at the end of the last episode. Getting a wound so early, I would just immediately end it. Like, we'd be like, nope, we're giving up. If you get a wound, generally in the first 2 story token, but like not down here somewhere, it's just faster for you to start over than suffer through the game with that massive penalty. Alright, everyone, I'll be right back. Alright, all I did was just go back to the main menu after I cut the recording. Now we're back in here again. This way, if something untoward happens and the frap stops recording or something happens with the game because of the glitch, we can just go back and restore the game. You're confronted with a creature from some type of horrible nightmare. It towers over 7 feet tall and seems covered in a sickly translucent slime. You can only describe it as a combination of a snail, cucumber, and octopus. You fight to control your revulsion. This thing is not of our world. It must be from another dimension entirely. You feel overcome with dread and a sickening revulsion. Your eyes widen disbelief as a strange creature turns to look at you. You have no doubt that you can overcome this nightmarish thing that confronts you. After initial shock of seeing this strange creature passes, you are pretty sure that you can identify it. You remember your briefings on the Tunguska event of 1908. A portal had been opened by this interdimensional race of aliens known as the Telesrati. An invasion had been foiled by a precursor to the Odd when the portal generator was overloaded. It had been a narrowly won victory. An interdimensional war had followed. This creature must be a scout sent over to do reconnaissance. Perhaps the energy of this house served as a beacon to pull it here. It seems to have been working at some sort of experiment. We do not have a good chance of defeating it. So the game's making this a little tougher for us, increasing difficulty to 9. I think we have to flee. You think that you can outrun this weird creature and get away before it can hurt you. You spin around and run as fast as you can. We'll still check for clues. And now we know there's a Telesrothi scientist in this room if we ever decide to come back here and fight it. You saw them lying on the floor, but you obviously didn't connect the dots. You started off down the hall past one large bag and then stopped in your tracks when you heard the ripping sound of cloth being torn open by some sharp instrument. You turned to face the sound and witnessed a decaying corpse rising up out of the remnants of the bag. The sharp instruments are razor-like claws. Your wishful thinking has put you in a tough position. Body sacks lying on the floor? What did you think was going to happen? I thought we'd be able to get through the hallway without any of them getting up. Holy crap! Look at that. That's all the face cards for pentacles, all displayed all immediately. You've seen things worse than this. Wake up in the odd mortuary. Then the creature lumbers towards you. You know exactly what it intends. At this point, it's fight or flee. You'd better hope the rest of those bags don't start moving. Normally, everyone, you can only attack the zombie or flee. That's a horrible chance to flee. Wow. I have added use sorcery and engage in a psychic duel? So, that's interesting. I really should use sorcery, but we'll try this. Let's try this once. There's not really anything left for you to duel, but you're pretty sure you can outwit this creature in some way that can kill it. That should be a space, some way should not be together. The boards here look fragile. You've just got to get it to trip or fall over and then deliver a quick kick to the head. That's a good hand for it. A big part of what I modded for this game was giving you other options to deal with encounters if you don't have just pure fighting. And in particular, to give you some ability to use sorcery. On that same note, for some of the encounters, like the shadows, I wanted you that if you played a melee type of character, someone who has swords and cups, that you'd have an option of dealing with that thing as well, rather than just run away endlessly. It looks like we've won this with flying colors. You manage to get the zombie to trip over another bag in the hallway, and, while it struggles to pick itself up, curb stomp its head into the ground. Nice work. That was very lucky. Plus 3 experience? Holy crap. Upstairs. We will get this on the map. We're not staying. We could go up and down this hallway to fight more zombies and farm them, but I think it's best that we just continue. Holy crap! That is a super long hallway. Your attention is drawn to a large stone statue of a truly horrific and bizarre-looking gargoyle. It sits on a pedestal with its arms wrapped around its legs. You feel a sudden shock shoot down your spine as you notice its eyelids blink open. The stone statue is alive. You fight to control a growing tide of fear that is sweeping over you. Usually things far worse than this. The gargoyle stretches itself out and unfurls its large wings. You note its razor-sharp claws. Before you realize it, it moves forward to attack you. We could maybe fight it, but it's part of a quest, and we don't have the first part, so the gargoyle is probably guarding something. You hope that the sorcery that animates it also confines it to a specific location. You turn and run. I've been tempted to make it so that if you defeat the gargoyle, you get the item anyway, even though you didn't need the quest. It seems weird that these quest things don't drop their quest items upon their defeat. You have to run from it if you don't want to have to eliminate that as a quest option. You must have been correct in your assessment. The gargoyle does not pursue you. You notice the eerie glow at first. There is a large vase set on a pedestal. The opaque glass base is topped with a ceramic lid that is marked with strange runes and glyphs. As you observe the vase, a face materializes within it. It swirls around inside, locked in a horrific silent scream. The face in the vase is truly disturbing. You can't actually hear it scream, but the expression invokes an overwhelming urge in you to scream as well. You find yourself screaming at the top of your voice before you even realize it. The face swirls around the interior of the vase, illuminated from within by ghostly blue energy. The silent scream still echoes in your ears, or perhaps only your imagination. You recognize the vase's construction and the runes etched along its lid. This is a spirit jar. Its sole purpose to bottle up and slowly leech off no life. There's no life energy it needs to leech off at all. Just energy from powerful beings who may or may not be alive. You should proceed with caution. It's part of a quest. We'll leave it alone. Now with his pentacles, I could go back here to the Bas-Relief face and get that quest, but I think we'll wait a little bit first. Let's see if we can circle back around to the other side of the mansion. A ghost suddenly materializes in front of you. It's dressed as if it stepped out of a safari on the Serengeti. It lowers its large caliber big game rifle at you and seems to be considering you closely. You don't know which is scarier, the ghost or the ethereal gun? I'm sure we know which one is scarier. Oh, do I use the queen, or do I hope we can use... Let's hold on to the queen. Let's see if we can use... Yes! If we can use her later on. We got lucky there. You stand up straight and play the alpha male. That's something this ghost would understand. I guess that means we're not the alpha male to begin with. The ghostly big game hunter squints at you like he is sizing you up for his trophy wall. There's a taint to him. You suspect he once brushed elbows with a witch doctor. You both stand there in a sort of ghostly standoff, waiting for the other to make the first move. Oh, I completely didn't read it. We'll use the king. Ah, I shouldn't have done that, though. Oh well. You have no trouble establishing a link. He is quite eager to speak with you. Holy crap! I'll take a few more experience points. Cheers, mate. I'm Colonel Von Pelt, and this is my bad accent, and you are my prey. Unless, of course, you can prove yourself useful. It seems one of my trophies has left the roost. I want you to track it down and return it to its rightful place. Come back here and let me know how you fared, or I will track you down. No, just kidding, laddie. I'll make it worth your while. I'm gonna grab a wands, and we'll see if I'm correct. I think the game's gonna become much tougher now with a 5 wands score that I have. We'll see. We'll see. You see a chessboard set up for the commencement of a game. Upon closer examination, you discover that the pieces are very strange. The black ones are carved out of some volcanic rock and seem to shift between normal pieces and twisted tentacled monsters. The white pieces, carved from alabaster, depict human arms? Humans armed with all manner of weapons. I don't know, if that'd be probably disturbing. I don't know if Death would want to play that game. You can swear that you see a knight that resembles yourself. Suddenly, in the chair across the chessboard, a grim specter of death appears. I have not done any of the text alterations yet. Your eyes wide in disbelief as the apparition beckons you to sit and play. Well, with this hand, it's not within our interest to play a game if we get this unlucky. You stare back at the apparition and even muster a nonchalant smile, which seems to amuse it. We just barely managed that, though. The specter startles you. You wonder if this is some type of trick or illusion. Could this be real? You can sense the currents of sorcery at work here, but just what the source is, you cannot be certain. It beckons you to sit across from it. The apparition motions to the board again, suggesting that you begin the game. That's not a lot of draw, so until I get a lot of draw, we're not doing this. I would probably want at least 2 more pentacles for this. Unlike your encounters with most other supernatural creatures, the Spectre of Death seems to have no problem with you leaving, and you feel perfectly free to do so. A line from a poem suddenly springs to mind. I have a rendezvous with death. at some disputed barricade. You feel your... This is it, I guess. This is our encounter with death now. You feel your footstep down on the pressure plate and then hear the pneumatic sounds of darts being shot through blow tubes. You catch a glimpse of the deadly swarm of needle-tipped killers heading your way. You notice what you think is a gap in the wall of darts heading your way. You decide to crouch into it. We need to be able to use these queens if you want a good chance of winning this. That's a hint, game, that we need a pentacles, a low pentacles, and or a low wands up here. I'll take that. Thank you, game. Thank you. You position yourself so that all the darts miss you completely. Come on, Aura of Fortune. Life's good, too. Life is very good, Tim. Life is good, just like that one mug you got from Hallmark. Probably does go all the way around the mansion. It's probably to the other side. Let's keep exploring. The butler might be in this room. Or nothing's in this room. Could be the knife. It is. You look down and see a large knife resting on a wooden surface. Blood has pooled around it, and there are several pieces of stubby flesh scattered around it as well. Suddenly, you see two pale eyes reflected on the surface of the blade. No, not reflected, but rather projected from someplace inside the blade. You recoil in terror from the vision. The eyes seem to pierce through to your very soul. They mask a dark, powerful, evil will. You shudder and force yourself to resist it. You can feel it probing your psychic defenses. You have kept your sanity. You have shrugged off the evil spirit's attempt to dominate you. You gaze at the knife, but try to keep your gaze from locking on to the mesmerizing eyes within the blade. You feel an oppressive presence in the room with you. The knife radiates pure evil. You resolve to approach this artifact with caution and wonder how many throats this thing has slit. The evil presence continues to probe your defenses, seeking to dominate you. You feel that the outcome is balanced on a knife's edge, so you decide to cut and run. That was really lucky. Getting an ace up there that we can take with our 3. Looks like we got a good handle on the situation, though. You stir yourself to move and break free from the evil presence that lurks within the knife. With one last final mental push, you turn and run. You think that you hear someone whistling at first. The gloom seems to part, and you encounter a figure engaged in a task of some sort. It's dressed in clothes from a previous era. As you come closer, you realize that you are in presence of something supernatural. The figure is transparent and seems to glide here and there as if floating on air. No matter how many times you see something like this, it's always a bit of a shock. And that's why our touch with the supernatural threatened to chip away at our sanity. Calm your mind and resist the terror that wishes to overwhelm you, despite the fact that you don't have anything higher than a 7. You feel reality slipping away from you just a little bit. The ghost that you are observing was obviously once a baker. You recognize the distinctive clothing and discern that it appears to be going through the motions of preparing bread for the oven. You sense, however, that it is agitated, as it keeps repeating the same motions over and over as if stuck in some type of circle. It pays you no attention whatsoever. You try to make contact with the ghost and listen to its story. Many focused hauntings like this have some unresolved business here in this world. Maybe you can help. You enter a trance and psychically reach out to the ghost. As you suspected, the ghost is caught in a psychokinetic rut of a sorts. It's not fully aware of this, but it seems eager to talk. I haven't any time for you, shouts the ghostly baker. Unless, of course, you can get my oven working again. It's wandered off somewhere, but I need it cleaned and fast. It's time to make the donuts. The ghostly baker pays you no more heed and goes back to his endless preparations. You will need to find this oven and clean it. It's probably actually in this room. I don't know if we're a match for it, though, without one more point of pentacles first. This is where we fought the poltergeist in this room last time. It's like, as I think it was, the servants' quarters. Another clue token. We didn't get this one last time. You can't really describe it, but you feel like you're being watched continuously. You see a bunch of papers spread out on top of a desk. Among the clutter are an assortment of old envelopes, letters, and even a few parchment papers. You decide to search through the papers. You never know what kind of things you might find. That was really lucky, getting immediately the page you can take with the king. Remember, you don't want to fail this challenge because you only get one shot at it. Oh. You don't come across anything earth-shattering, but there's enough information here to boost your confidence that you're on the right track. Is there? I guess we're here. We'll try fighting the oven. Oh, or the oven's not here. You come across an odd sight for this house, and that is saying something. Before you sent a 1922 Kelvinator refrigeration unit. Who knows how it got here? You notice that the door is hanging slightly ajar. Your eyes are drawn to the interior of the main porcelain cabinet, and you are shocked by what you see. Jars and jars of eternal organs, some human, some you are not sure of. Your stomach turns at the sight of all these neatly stacked organ jars. The methodical alignments and the precision of the stacking makes you wonder about the evil obsessive-compulsive genius behind this? Or question marks. Oh. I mean, we won, but I wanted to use the queen. You aren't going to go looking around for sandwich fixings, but the sight of these organs and tissues, many of them still moving, doesn't really faze you. Rows of neatly stacked transparent jars and specimen dishes containing organs and tissue samples fill the inside of the main porcelain cabinet, which each labeled in a neat mechanical handwritten script. You glance over the tables, noting some of the larger and even stranger ones. Krogan, Asari, Drell, Turian. On the bottom shelf is a rack holding dozens of vials, each also neatly labeled. Zigu venom, trace of the beyond, Ginitz acid. Zombies! You come face to face with the living dead. Slow, ponderous, and mindless, zombies are still not to be underestimated. They can overwhelm you with numbers and be feasting on your entrails before you know it. Despite having dispatched quite a few of these undead automatons, especially the ones that were just in the hallway, they still creep you out. This one's like missing half its body. I didn't notice that before. Usually things far worse than this. You finally remember your last mission with Officer Rick. It was utter zombicide. Zombies! You hate these guys. This place certainly knows how to keep you on your toes. Just don't build a summer house here. Normally in the game, everyone, you can only attack or flee. I have added sorcery, so we will use that against them. You begin to evoke Wither, which should hopefully reduce these creatures to dust. Oh, might not be working. Woo! It was tricky, but you managed to get all three within the confines of the spell. It helps that there was the slow type of zombies rather than the fast type. Your attention is drawn to an old suit of armor standing guard in the gloom. As you strain to make out its features, you realize something is terribly wrong. A sudden chill shoots down your spine, and a sense of dread engulfs you. There is dark sorcery involved in it, and it nibbles at your sanity. Your eyes wind disbelief as the cursed armor turns to meet your gaze. You must fight to keep your sanity. Usually things far worse than this. The haunted suit of armor is animated by some evil sorceress artifice. Such a curse would require great power and forbidden knowledge. Its gaze is locked on you, and you sense an intelligence of some sort. You sense a keen intelligence before you. An aura of sadness permeates its very being. You also sense desire. Perhaps you can figure out what, if anything, this cursed suit of armor wants. You attempt to make contact with the haunted armor, but your efforts fail. This is one of those times, everyone, because it only requires one target point, that, yes, alright, I want a hand like this, so I can get as many points as possible from the cards up here. Ooh, that was a nice way to end it. Because I want more experience points, and this is a good way to try to get them. The intelligence speaks to you. The sadness and anguish are nearly overwhelming, but you understand that it wants you to break its curse. 500 years ago, a Symbiotic witch stripped the knight's soul from his body, sealed it into the armor, and bound the key within a small glass bead. The bead was taken by a common thief who perished in this house 30 years ago. The haunted armor cannot use the key itself, but perhaps you can. So, let me go back to the main menu again, because I have to remember which of these I took last time. So, give me a second, everyone. I'm going to cut the recording again. Okay, the reason I do that is because I have to Alt F4 the game to make it not save if I don't like the background I pick. And I think, what did I go for last time? I think it was athletics specialist, wasn't it? I think it was. We'll pick this again. You hold the odd obstacle course record at the secret training facility known as the Meadows. Many of your fellow agents think that you are crazy in your devotion to physical fitness, but it has paid off time and again. You survive mishaps that would have killed most agents. We'll get a cups. We'll be able to increase our cups. We will gain the defensive heroic feats like heroic leap and duck and roll, which we saw last game. We'll gain evade traps, edges, and a cups bone. And we'll get to immediately improve our cups. You notice a large tome set on an ornate reading pedestal. It's apparent that the book is bound in human skin. You have seen such things in the odd special collections. You feel a presence nearby. Yes, you are being watched, but the strongest emanation is from the tome itself. You could swear that it is alive. Is it breathing? No, that must be your imagination. We have a good chance to win this. I think we'll wait just a tiny bit more. I wouldn't mind having one more wands before I make the pentacles before I make the attempt. This will probably lead outside. We're high enough in the mansion's area that this door, again, leads outside, probably goes in this direction. I don't like going outside because the encounters out there are tougher, and there's usually a shotgun trap on your way out there, and I usually fail that and get a wound. But because this is like one of the last years I'm playing this game on this computer, one of the last years I can record the game, we'll step out there. Let it be known that I'd like to register with you viewers that this is a bad idea. If this indeed is going to be what I think it's going to be, if I can even speak today. You see a grizzled old man dressed in some grungy old robes. He seems aware of your presence, and he waves you forward. He introduces himself as the Alchemist, and you notice that he is indeed surrounded by a menagerie of strange equipment. You wonder what on earth he is doing here in this mansion. He doesn't seem at all disturbed that you have dropped in on him. You decide to gauge the Alchemist in a little conversation and try to discover what he's up to. I can do better than this hand. If we get to use the Queen, I'll still fail, because I can do better than that hand as well. Alright, this one will... Really, Tim? You have a king, a page, you better be able to use that king up here if you do this. And we can. And I don't expect me to use, yes, so these are not being used. Alright. But I'll take that. That's still good. This is like 5, I think, card draw? He seems to size you up, and you get to the heart of the matter. He wants your help, but he is willing to help you in return. Oh. Hehehe. Yes, young master, you will suffice, I think. I cannot leave this room because, I cannot. But I need my papers returned to me if I am to complete this great work I've set out to finish. My legacy, you see. He wants you to recover some papers that are nearby. The papers are warded, so you must speak the words of release when you find them. He can't remember exactly where. He remembers some worrying about competitors, and then sends you on your way. I suspect that originally, Mr. Davis wanted this quest to be a choice turn-in between you turning this in to him, the witches, or the... Actually, yeah, witches' papers, I think they are. Or the Rashaka. These might actually be those papers. We're right here, but if I'm wrong, we will waste time. So I think we'll still go outside first. Ow! I don't like this! I don't like this at all. Pack of wolves. You suddenly see four-legged creatures lurking in the gloom ahead. Then you hear growling and know exactly what you're dealing with. Wolves. You hope that there isn't a werewolf among them. Oh, well, I guess we're fighting, because our chance to flee is just as tough. And I'd rather we can still get beaten up if we fail to flee, and we could lose the only single point of courage we have for our one ability, so we will fight them. A good show of force should drive these things off, no problem. Look for the alpha male, and get him first if you can. It's not a bad hand. 2 knights, 2 8s, and a 3. We'll have to hope we can play at least one of the knights to reduce the damage we take. You find the alpha male and kill him quickly. The pack soon loses its stomach for the fight. You sense something strange, though, as if there was a hidden hand guiding these creatures. Is Victor in this place as well? Hello. What have we here? Look at this. That is a large bonfire, an altar, and standing stones everywhere. You see the soft glow of a fire. As you approach it, you can recognize the outline of a cauldron sitting on top of it. Steam rises from it, indicating that its contents are being brought to a boil. You suddenly feel very uneasy. There is a spell at work here. You focus your mind to shrug off its effects, but you begin to feel hazy and drunk. 3 pairs of glowing green eyes stare out at you from around the cauldron and wonder why you cannot read this description. Walking into the witch's ritual and beholding their hypnotic gaze has put you at a disadvantage, and you fight to keep your sanity. You feel like you want to climb into the cauldron. Luckily for you, they break off their GS at the last moment. The ordeal threatens to sap your sanity. You've come across 3 how do you say that? Cernunian witches. You sense the presence of the horned god nearby. The witches have gone back to their ritual. You wonder why they would treat your intrusion so lightly. You consider your options carefully. These creatures are undoubtedly powerful, and the ritual centering around the cauldron must only strengthen them and the power they draw from the horned god. Well, we'll talk with them. You sense that they have left you alone for a reason. You're not certain if it's due to the fact that they have completely discounted any threat that you could muster, or that they somehow want you to make contact. You step forward, but your courage fails you. You can't utter a sound. They seem disappointed. We'll fail that again. I am a little nervous. I don't get this encounter often because I'm never out here, so I'm a little nervous about what the results could be. Okay, this is better. We will try to win this one. Again, everyone, the reason I fail these challenges is because I want a better hand draw so I can get more points, which will lead me to the chance of getting more experience points because you get more card draw at the end of the challenge upon succeeding so well. You step forward and address them. They seem eager to talk with you. The witches cackle and fix their gazes upon you with their growing eyes. They then alternate words as if the three of them were sharing the same mind. You hear them speak. Greetings, mortal. Although you and I would normally be at odds, I have an offer to make you that should suit us both. My heralds cannot enter the mansion, and it is warded against them. Inside is a book that I require. Bring it to my heralds, and I will stand aside from interfering with your mission. I might even help you? I might even help you. What's wrong with me today? So that book is not the book on a stand. That is a different book of some sort. I'm not going to explore the rest of this. Not yet. After bringing the book back, there'll be another quest that will probably involve a creature that's actually out here. Unless there's another outside area on a different side of the mansion. Since I'm now doubling back a little bit, we will actually investigate this. These are the papers. You think this might be the stash of papers that the strange alchemist sent you after. You should be careful to speak the release words so that the ward can't harm you. And we'll just win this challenge. You speak the words of release and you can feel the ward dissipate. You grab up the sheets of paper and put them away in your pockets. We may as well turn this in. I think we get like 1 guaranteed experience points from him, which will be enough I can improve my cups another point. Or my wands. You decide to tell the alchemist that you have found his papers and hand them over. Most excellent, young master. I thank thee. Now I must be on my way, but feel free to make use of anything that I leave behind. A portal of shimmering blue vapors opens up in front of him, and he steps through. The portal vanishes, and you are left alone. We can get all sorts of things from this reward. You can get equipment like a gun, you might get like a sledgehammer, you could get arcana cards from this as well, or a spell. Or we could end up getting nothing, which is the most likely chance. Gain 5 expertise tokens after this card is used to take a trick. Oh, the holy water again! Right, that's amazing. Let's accept this. That was fantastic. Wow. I'm gonna go back to the main menu. That's how that gets saved. All right. The holy water gives us +1 pentacles, and against any undead, 2 cards are scryed during that encounter. And it is so tempting to use that Arcana card as soon as possible, because 5 experience is very nice. But we should hold on to it at least at the moment. I'm thinking that we will take our wands up a point, which is very dangerous. We're gonna do it. That 1 wands and that 1 pentacles will let us interact with the book on a stand without too much trouble, I'm hoping. A psychic imprint. A name keeps coming to your mind. Allardyce. Each time the name enters your psyche, you feel a sudden surge of pain. All challenges that involve wands as the primary suit receive a +1 modifier to the target trick point number needed to win the challenge while this story icon is active. That will actually, I think, affect the book on a stand. We'll do this and then we'll call the session, everyone. Alright, let's try this. Your training has included research into countless forbidden tomes. And tombs. You can read a dozen dead or lost languages, mostly because the tomes were in tombs. Before you can find some useful information here? Why are the words not the words that are on my screen? You do not want to lose this challenge if you can avoid it. I think we'll use Flash of Genius. If I'm correct and we select a face card, we'll earn 8 points. No matter what happens, we get to draw a card. Darn it. So no points taken. We drew a card of some sort. You begin to read the tome and realize that you have established a mind link with an evil intelligence that resides within. Your will is stronger and it bows before you, revealing new vistas and hidden knowledge. Lumerian Fire. We'll take a look at that soon. And 4 more Arcane Energy, which doesn't help us, as this is the only spell we have. Roll 1 bone and select X non-face revealed trick cards and remove them from the board, where X is the number of pentacles rolled. Then replace them with random cards from the deck. So if we get trick cards that we can't match, that are non-face cards, we can get rid of them and try drawing extra cards with this spell. Alright, so we're going to stop here. Let's take stock of the situation. We are looking good. We're looking good. 6 wands, 4 pentacles this early on. We have a single story token drawing. We've already gone and grabbed another background. I'm thinking the next thing will be increasing his cups, and then another skill card. Something that we can continually improve our pentacles with, I think. It might be beneficial. Maybe we will choose a swords thing, but I'm thinking we probably want pentacles instead. A spell of some sort, I think. A spell background of some sort, like Atlantean caster or something. In any case, we also have gotten a few quests. 6 of them, actually. We completed a quest already, turning that into the one gentleman, and we've picked up an Arcana card as well. Getting the Fool, which is a wonderful card, and I'm really tempted you want to use it early because that's what earns you those experience tokens. But we should hold on to it for a little bit. Maybe we'll play Death when we get back in that game. Maybe. We'll see. Because we can beat Death with that Arcana card. But that'll be next episode. Actually, why don't you guys tell me? Should we play Death? Because we can probably beat Death with that Arcana card. That gives us a chance to get other Arcana cards from beating him. Spells alike. You get some good rewards for besting this challenge. And if we have to use the Fool, we would also gain 5 experience tokens, which we could use to take another new background. Or we could even take an early Deception Persuasion edge, which would be helpful for getting more quests. Anyway, let me know in the comments and we'll do it. And in either case, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.